edit out all this hair touching that I'm doing, okay? Okay. I really don't know how to answer this question. And also I just feel like if I start naming people, then it'll also be about who I've left out. We got it! Amazing! I've been learning dance since I was, I think, 4 years old. Maybe even a little less than that, because my mum was an Odissi dancer and used to teach Odissi when I was growing up. So I used to go to this class with her. I think I started formal classes around 4 or 5, and I've never stopped since. It's always been a part of my life. It's always been, you know, for me it was just normal. Like, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, go to school, and then you go to dance class. Like, it was just regular life, you know. Around my masters, when I was invited to be a part of a professional dance company that was started by an Odissi dancer named Madhulita Mohapatra, who had recently moved to Bangalore then, and she had reached out to me and said, you know, why don't you join us and perform with us and learn from me, and I just took that opportunity. At that point I was still finishing my education, and then it just started doing really well. It just and Madhu Didi is an incredible director, and she gave me a lot of opportunities and believed in me a lot and pushed me a lot, and that kind of got me into performing in a more professional way. So that's where I am now. I do a lot of ensemble work with Nrityantar under Madhu Didi, and I do some of my own work as well. I've done a couple of productions over the last few years. I do some collaborative work on my own. So yeah, now it's like a balance of a lot of things. I think it definitely is hard. I think around the world, if you talk to artists, everybody will probably say the same thing, that none of us are likely to be billionaires in this lifetime, for sure. But I think just traditionally, arts in India has always depended on patronage. Like, even if you look at it historically, it was always the temples that supported, you know, the growth and survival of these art forms and artists, or King's Court. Like, the King's Court was something that would put a lot of money and patronage into the arts, and it was seen as a rich man's luxury, right, to invest in the arts, to have famous painters create work for them, or sculptors, and this is true around the world. But in modern day India, I think there are a lot of struggles that artists have to figure out how to make their practices sustainable financially. I think we have a very long way to go, although things are changing now, and there are ways to monetize your performances and to demand a certain amount of support from not only your audiences but also your government and your you know, your corporate sector, things like that. But that said, I mean, especially when younger dancers come to me and say, I want to do this professionally, do you think it's a good idea? I say do it. If you're passionate about it, you absolutely should do it. But it is hard, and I think it's important to understand that it's hard and that you might have to enable this practice in some other way. I have a paying job. I've kept it freelance and part-time so that I'm able to rehearse at whatever time of day I need to. I can travel for performances whenever I need to. I don't have to apply for leave from a formal company. And I've managed over the last 7 years or so to sort of create a pattern and a schedule in my life that accommodates the things I want to do. And that takes time, and it takes, you know, a few mistakes and a little bit of struggle. But yeah, if you're lucky, I think it helps a lot to have a supportive, you know, background, a family that understands what you want to do and allows you to take your time to do it. So yeah, I think it definitely is hard, but I think things are changing now, and there are ways to, you know, demand to be seen as professionals and to be seen as an industry that needs to be sustainable. But it is definitely hard, yeah. I think I should start by saying that I never fancied myself a teacher. It was not something that I had ever planned on doing. But two things happened. One is Madhu Didi, our director at Nrityantar and my teacher now, she pushed me towards teaching. Nrityantar started to get very big in Bangalore, and she wanted to have different branches in different parts of the city. So she kind of said, there's nothing in central Bangalore and you should start, and she really pushed me to do it. I also had some students who just came to me. I think there were people who saw me perform or had been part of workshops or something like that, and I found a handful of students who put a lot of faith and a lot of love into my abilities. And I remember fighting them a lot on it, to be like, I don't want to do this, I don't have any experience, I don't know whether I'll be able to handle children. I had all these concerns in my head about teaching. But there was this one particular student whose mother was just behind me, and she said, I have seen you dance and I have decided that my daughter will only learn from you. And I found myself thinking that this kind of love doesn't come by every day, and I don't want to turn this kind of love away. So if I have something to offer this child, I'll figure it out, I'll find a way to do it. And now she's been with me almost 6 years, and she's turning into a beautiful young lady and a graceful dancer, and I'm very grateful to her and to her mother for trusting me, because this child was pretty much my first guinea pig, right? Like, I tried a lot of different methods on her, and I have shouted at her and I've experimented on her, and she has trusted me with that process, and over a period of time I think I've gotten better at it and I've started to enjoy it more. So there's teaching of dance, but there is also other kinds of teaching I do. I'm a guest faculty at Mount Carmel College in Bangalore, where I do an introduction to Indian dance, and I've been doing that also for the last few years. It's not very large commitment in terms of time, because I'm not a permanent faculty member, and I just teach short modules to introduce students to dance. And I've actually found that over a period of time I've really started enjoying that as well. So I guess it's like I've sort of grown into the role, and I know there's a long way to go as well, and over time I think people develop their teaching methodologies and maybe make mistakes and then do it better. And yeah, so that experience has been a very growing experience, because I think that doing something and teaching it are two completely different things. Because your students are going to have struggles that you didn't have. Your students are going to ask you questions that didn't occur to you, and maybe the methods that worked on you as a student may not work on your students. So you have to develop new methods, you have to work with them, you have to give them options when they don't feel like doing something, to maintain their interest in something. So yeah, it's been a growing experience and a journey that I think I'm still on, but it's been lovely, yeah. I have an incredible community around me. I mean, I think just looking at the kind of dance and actually even music and theatre that gets produced in this country, it's really amazing. There are some incredible artists who are creating amazing work in this country. I've been lucky right from the start. I've had incredible teachers. I started under my mother, who was an Odissi dancer she was a student of Odissi for almost 25 years, and then she went on to be a choreographer and director for, up until now. And I think working with your mother is just like, she was never going to mollycoddle me. She's my harshest critic. And I always have that eye on my body, which is nice, to always have that external eye to say, to make observations of the way you're doing something. I also went to Nrityagram after that, which is a residential school in Bangalore in Hesarghatta. I was there when I was a teenager, between the ages of maybe 14 and 18, maybe a little more than that. And they are amazing. If you ever have had the chance to watch them live or even look at videos online, they are spectacular dancers and very, very generous teachers. And I've learned a lot actively as a student from them, and even after just observing them or doing workshops with them. And my teacher now is also incredible in her generosity of teaching and of promoting her dancers and giving them opportunities and things like that. So in terms of my environment, my teachers have been amazing. My immediate peers have been amazing as well. Like, I've been very lucky to find very, very talented dancers to collaborate with, who have lent their expertise to my work and have trusted me as a director. There is just so much art in our environment, and you don't even have to search that hard. I think you can just decide to go to for some show and chances are you'll see something really amazing and really, soul stirring. The lockdown has definitely posed a lot of challenges, and I think that there is an incredible diversity to the number of people that this has affected, and to a lot of different extents, right? So I think that, I mean, on the one hand, there is someone like me. On the other hand, there are also not the practicing dancer on stage itself, but also the light technician in the auditorium who now doesn't have work, or the guy who runs the costume rental store who is dependent on performances happening to make a living. Our makeup men, our set designers, things like that. I think the fact that live performances isn't happening and isn't going to happen for a while has challenged a lot of people's livelihood, and that is not amazing. For me, I think that it has kind of turned into a exploratory phase. It's a phase that a lot of people are using in different ways. There's been this huge migration to social media. People are like giving you glimpses of their studio rehearsals, or doing live performances on Instagram, or conducting interviews with other dancers, or having discussions with them on their platforms. But I think that for me, I had a little bit of a transition when I realized that this is not going to finish. I think for a long time I thought, okay, this is 3 weeks, it's 5 weeks, it's 6 weeks, and it'll pass and then normal life will resume. So I think that the approach to how we were dealing with it was kind of restricted to, okay, we'll do things that will help us pass the time now, and then when it's over, we'll go back to the way we normally function. Right? But I think that now there's a little bit of a realization that this is not going away anytime soon, and we are going to have to understand this new reality, and we're going to have to adapt to it. So we have to change the way we create work, and we have to address the issues of, let's say the screen size that somebody is watching me on, or the fact that I don't know if you're watching me vertically or horizontally. You're going to have phone calls interrupting my performance. You're going to have notifications coming in from the top of the screen. I'm also restricted to this space, right? Which for a dancer who's used to a stage is a bit of an adjustment. Like, it's a physical adjustment. So I think I'm kind of in this space where I'm trying to even figure out what it means to be a performing artist in a time when all the tools that I'm used to having are not at my disposal anymore, and things have to be done a little bit differently. But yeah, I think I'm also grateful. I think that it's nice to have an outlet and something that keeps me physically active and mentally engaged, and I'm engaging with my craft and I'm able to have that outlet. I'm also grateful that I have a support system that doesn't mean I'm worried about my next meal, because I do think that a lot of people are worried about their next meals. And that Okay, within Odissi itself, I'm going to just say that my 3 or 4 immediate influences are my teachers. So Shahana Das, who's my mom, my first teacher, the dancers and Nrityagram, Shurupa Sen and Vijayani Satpathy. My teacher now, my director at Nrityantar, Madhulita Mahapatra, and her teacher at the Odisha Dance Academy, Aruna Mohanty. I think these are specifically, I mean, if I have to give you a few names, because there are so many others as well. Outside of Odissi, I think I'm a huge fan of Akram Khan's. I think I really love his approach to storytelling and his use of device. I particularly enjoy his work. I'm incredibly fussy with picking my collaborators, like really fussy. And I think that sometimes it's not only about how incredible they are at what they do, but also about how we relate to each other. I mean, I would love to work for Akram Khan, but I've never done anything else, ever. I've worked with dancers of a lot of different disciplines. There was one incident when I went to attend a choreographer's residency in Paris last year, where I met some really truly amazing dancers from across the world. And one of the exercises we were asked to do was to look at choreography as separate from dance. So we were put in pairs and we were asked to teach our partner our choreographies and have them dance it for us. So I had to teach Odissi to somebody who had never seen it before, and I had to dance her contemporary dance choreography. And it was really hard. It was super hard because you're also, trying to undo a lot of instincts and a lot of muscle memory that's ingrained into your body and understand movement in a completely different way. So I found it very hard. I'm told I was okay, that I didn't do a terrible job, but it was definitely a challenge. So I think that any like style change if I attempt to make now, it would be very challenging. I think my biggest bucket list is to travel, and I have already done a fair amount of it, I think. But I've really enjoyed being able to take a piece of my culture and take it somewhere else, and have something to offer them, and to also have those interactions with them, right? Like meet artists from other countries, find similarities in our work, or shared experiences, even with audience members. And I've had some really lovely interactions with people who have come to see a show and maybe have never seen Indian dance before, and I've been able to be the person who introduces it to them, and that's a really special thing. And it's definitely a responsibility, and it's something that I found very enriching as an artist. So I would really love to do more of that, like just travel the world and perform and meet new people and eat nice food and have fun experiences. I think if I can do that through dance, that would be amazing.